I'm Reverend Cornell Carter, and today we're celebrating Black history. For this segment, we want to talk about Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was an ex-slave, a social reformer, a great orator, a writer. And Frederick Douglass dedicated his life to the eradication of slavery. Up until that time, many had been involved. Many great people who saw the need for social change. But there was no one like Frederick Douglass who had actually lived the life as a slave, who understood what it meant not to be free, who understood what it meant not to make decisions that governed his own life. And so as he entered the movement to change the world that we live in, Frederick Douglass did it from the inside, from a position of experience, and he dedicated his life to eradicating slavery and changing the landscape of American culture. And as he spoke and as he traveled around, he gained much celebrity, if you will, through the various abolitionist journals and the anti-slavery newspapers. He became somewhat of a household name and began to travel around the country, giving further voice to the movement for equality. Travel at that time in the 1840s was not like travel today. You and I have the luxury of traveling with relative ease and inexpense, 10 or 15 miles from home to take care of whatever the demands of the day are. But in 1840, it was quite a commitment, quite an exercise, quite a journey for Frederick Douglass to, in fact, give voice to the people who seemingly had none. He was committed to it, and his commitment took him across the country, so much so that Frederick Douglass even experienced illness from fatigue. His commitment taking him day in and day out and wearing down his physical body while his spirit still yearned to give voice and to give exposure and to carry the message of equality to the people. On August 30th and 31st in the year of 1847, it was a special day. It was a day in the history of Medina, our city, that we should celebrate, that we should stop, we should take notice of. On that day, Frederick Douglass came to the city of Medina, and he stopped in at the old courthouse on the square at the corner of West Liberty Street and Court Street. And as we think about what would bring someone of his stature, someone of his commitment, someone with for whom that trip represented a significant commitment of time, what would bring Frederick Douglass to the city of Medina? What was it like here then? Well, we know that there were anti-slavery organizations, there were abolitionist organizations. We know that H.G. Blake, one of our own, went on to Congress and spoke boldly and openly about liberation. And when you think about the Underground Railroad and the activities that surrounded that, Medina became known in code terms as number 27 on the Underground Railroad. And so when we think about Frederick Douglass coming to the city of Medina in 1847, and we think about the role that the city of Medina played as number 27 on the Underground Railroad, it begins what begins to emerge is an understanding that the place we call home, that the place that we visit and we explore every day, really has a special place in the liberation movement. It has a special place not just during Black History Month, but in the history itself of our city and of our community. We are a progressive city today, but the great news is that it didn't just start today, that we're living out a history that precedes all of us, and it's marked in a very special way by the visit of Frederick Douglass to the city of Medina. And so as we travel around our city, and we find ourselves at the corner of West Liberty Street and Court Street, pause and reflect. Think about the fact that Frederick Douglass, a man of a great stature, stopped and went through those doors to talk to our community. When he went through those doors, he came to talk to you and to me, to people who he was calling to greatness, to people who he wanted to believe that we were not tied to our history, but that we were at the door of opportunity. What a great opportunity, in fact, it is for our city and for our community as we come together, because really Frederick Douglass wasn't just talking to Black Americans. He was talking to all of us, to Asian Americans, to Native Americans, to everyone that comprises our community. They're stakeholders, they're a part of what make us great. And so we're celebrating Black history. We're celebrating Frederick Douglass. And we encourage you to join us again for the next segment as we continue to celebrate Black History Month in the city of Medina. I'm Reverend Cornell Carter, and we'll see you soon.